Senator Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Carter, the shootings that was referenced in New Orleans over the last couple of years, is there any research or data that shows what number of those shootings were done by weapons addressed in the bill?
We keep data on what types of weapons are used in shooting. Certainly, we collect that kind of evidence. I don't have the exact number with me today to tell you, but there is a large percentage of shootings and or murders that are committed with assault-type weapons. And what we're seeing more often than not is it's far more than the intended target getting shot, because when the assault weapon is used, it's usually multiple people being shot, or more than, a person being shot far more than one time. So while I don't have the exact number with me, I can tell you every year we keep that data on what types of weapons are used because we collect that data.
So, and I don't mean to put you on the spot for it, but let's, whatever that number would be, what would be your opinion on the percentage of those that use those guns stated in the bill and they acquired those guns illegally?
What I can say is that there are both instances where legally purchased assault weapons are used and stolen assault weapons are used, stolen from people who purchased them legally.
Yes,
so in both cases, we know that is actually happening. And so I don't have the exact number with me today, but we do know that assault weapons are used by people who buy them illegally, by people who buy them legally, and people who are using stolen weapons from people who bought them legally, some of whom are bought by people within that age range.
And the reason I say that is the research I've done, I would submit that the majority of those are using those weapons. They've acquired them completely illegal, either stealing them from someone who has gone through the proper channels. And the reason I say that is that my concern on this is that this prohibits and basically handcuffs law-abiding citizens, because those that are going to go and use any type of shooting, specifically with the guns in here, they're going to get them anyway. And that's my concern, and that's a lot of what my constituents are concerned for. Does that make sense?
I hear where you're going, and very respectfully, we could make the same argument about illicit drugs. Mm-hmm. Let's just not make them illegal, because people are going to still get cocaine. They're going to still get crystal meth. They're going to still get crack. They're going to still get these drugs. But we still have laws. And the laws are still here to govern behavior. I wish we can pass laws that everybody will obey. I wish that we had scenarios where we could be talking about something else today and we wouldn't have such an epidemic on our hands. I will tell you, my research falls contrary to the research that you have, because there is a plethora of research out there that shows that these weapons are being purchased. There was recently a story on, I think it was CNN, that tracked a young man who went to a liquor store and attempted to buy liquor and was turned away. He went to a adult store, porno store, and was turned away. He went to a gun store and bought a gun. So, and my point is, it was easier for this young man to go through the process and get an AR-15 than it was for him to purchase pornographic material, cigarettes, or alcohol. There's something really wrong with that picture. While cigarettes, alcohol, and pornography have all proven to be devastating and have real negative impacts on the psyche of our young people, weapons of mass destruction not only impact the person that's carrying it, but the countless numbers of others who are in the audience. Because as the police chief said, when you go after an intended target, oftentimes multiple other people are hit because of the rapid rate at which a AR-15 or Uzi or AK-47 sprays, that you've got a target that hits multiple people. You've got police officers who are out attempting to serve and protect, and they're getting hit because some creep on the other side has an AR-15, and we've got police officers trying to defend themselves, and they're being sprayed. So it's a hybrid of an issue. It's not just about the individual, but it's also about protecting our law enforcement while they attempt to do their jobs.
And
And I know as a former police officer, you're particularly sensitive to that, and I commend and appreciate you for your service.
Well, and I completely appreciate and understand everything said. It's just I really would have liked to have the data to be able to see of those shootings which guns fall into the bill, and of those which ones were legally possessed. That's
with it. A couple of keystrokes on the internet, it pops up faster than you can imagine.
yeah.
Well,
So
without having, excuse me, I mean, if I may, without having that specific data, what I can say, at least for the city of New Orleans, every murder that I've mentioned and every non-fatal shooting, on average above 350, there were 0 instances where the person who bought that weapon for the reason they thought they were buying it, to protect themselves, never used it for that purpose. There were 0 instances of that.
Well, and I can appreciate that, but that's honestly not what the bill's addressing. The bill's addressing the attacker, not the defender. I mean, I hate to put it in those terms, but that's what it is.
Well, it impacts both.
It impacts both.
It impacts both. I mean,
appreciate
it on one hand, it prevents, the other it protects.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Perry. Senator